Welcome to this HMRC webinar about Rules of Origin. On the 1st of January 2021, the UK started trading based on a new free trade agreement between the UK and the European Union, the Trade and Cooperation Agreement. I'll say TCA during the webinar. To protect UK and EU producers and manufacturers, the TCA's preferential zero tariffs only apply to goods produced or manufactured in the UK or the EU. This means that you don't need to pay customs duty if you import goods from the EU, that is, you bring goods that originate in the EU into the UK. Or you export goods to the EU, that is, sending goods that originate in the UK to the EU, as long as the goods meet the rules of origin requirements in the TCA. If you're a UK-based business bringing or receiving goods into Northern Ireland, you should also check the origin of your goods. Under the TCA, the preferential zero tariff can only be applied to goods that meet the rules of origin. Before going into the rules of origin details, please note that the webinar will take about half an hour. Please keep watching to the end to hear how rules of origin may affect you and your business. You can pause and rewind whenever you want and work through the information at your own pace. We'll also provide links to further help and support at the end of the webinar. So, what are the rules of origin? We use rules of origin to determine the country where the goods originally came from. This is the country in which the goods, or the materials, parts or ingredients used to make them, have been produced and manufactured. It's not where they've been shipped or bought from. Once we know which country the goods originated from, we can see if they qualify for a preferential tariff under the TCA. When goods are moved into the UK from the EU, or into the EU from the UK, you must follow 3 steps to be able to claim zero tariffs. These are: Step 1, classify your goods by finding the correct commodity code. Step 2, check if your goods meet the rules of origin. And Step 3, get proof that your goods meet the rules of origin. Remember, if you're a UK-based business bringing or receiving goods into Northern Ireland, you should also check the origin of your goods. Step 1. You need to classify your goods by finding the correct commodity code. Commodity codes classify goods for import and export, so you can check if there's any duty or VAT to pay and find out about duty reliefs. They're also needed to fill in declarations and other paperwork. You can find guidance on classifying your goods on the gov.uk website, and we'll show you useful links at the end of the webinar. The second step is to check if your goods meet the rules of origin. As rules of origin are not the same across the whole trade agreement, there are different rules for different goods. These are called product-specific rules, or PSRs, and you should check the individual rules for your goods. Once you've classified your goods, you can find the product-specific rules for your goods in the Trade and Cooperation Agreement. There are also tools on the gov.uk website to help you find the correct PSRs for your goods. Your goods may need to meet several rules, one specific rule, or there may be a choice of rules. Let's look at a few of these now. Wholly obtained. Goods that are fully grown, born, or extracted from the UK are eligible for preferential treatment. This rule applies to mainly agricultural products, such as vegetables grown in the UK. It can also apply to mineral products extracted from UK soil. Change in the tariff code rule. For a finished product to be classified as originating under this rule, any part or input used in its production that doesn't originate in the UK must be classified differently to that of the finished product. This means that you'll have to have classified all of these inputs and know their origin. The classification of the non-originating inputs may need to change at different levels of detail. These include chapter level, called CC, a heading level, CTH, or subheading level, CTSH, depending on the rule. The chapter is the first 2 digits of a goods commodity code, the heading is the first 4 digits, and the subheading is the first 6 digits. Value added or percentage rule. If a rule requires a maximum level of non-originating material, or maxNOM, a certain proportion of the value of the final product must be generated in the UK or the EU. This can include UK originating parts or value added in the production, such as labour and manufacturing costs. A specific operation or set of operations taking place in the UK would mean it would be classed as UK originating. Specified operations are particular to certain specialised industries or products. These rules are common in the chemical sector and in textiles and clothing, for instance. So for textile products, the rules may specify that the weaving and cutting of fabric to make garments must take place in the UK for the product to be classed as UK originating. Once a product has gained originating status, it's considered as 100% originating. This means that if that product is later incorporated in the production of a further product, its full value is considered originating, and you don't need to take into account any non-originating materials within it. In this example, Bradley has a business building custom-made motorbikes. He imports some parts from China, but the majority of parts are from the UK. The imported parts are processed to build the engine, and the product-specific rule for the motorbike engine is met. Bradley uses the imported parts to build the engines he puts into the custom-built motorbikes. This means that the individual parts are processed and the rules of origin are met. As the engine is then used in the production of a motorbike in the UK, 100% of the value of the engine can be counted towards the originating content of the overall bike. And finally, step 3, proof goods comply. To claim zero tariffs, a business will need to provide proof that their goods comply with the rules of origin. This can be through either a statement of origin provided by the seller or exporter, or through evidence the importing business has obtained about how the goods meet the product-specific rule and are originating in the exporting country. This is also known as importer's knowledge. A statement on origin is a declaration by the exporter that the goods are originating under the terms of the TCA. The statement contains standard wording that the exporter adds to the invoice or any commercial document that describes the originating product in sufficient detail to be able to easily identify the goods. An exporter making out a statement on origin must hold information to show that the product is originating, such as the originating status of materials used in its production. This may require separate declarations obtained from their suppliers' declarations, which we'll cover later in the presentation. As a UK exporter, you'll need to include your GB Economic Operators Registration and Identification Number, your EORI, as an identifier on your exporter statement on origin. Exporters in the EU will usually include their Registered Exporter or REX number. The statement on origin can cover multiple products in a single consignment. You can also mix originating and non-originating goods on one invoice, as long as you make clear which goods are originating and which aren't. Your invoices will usually show a column listing the origin of the item, a 2-digit country code. Or it may be a yes/no, indicating if it has UK origin. If not, you can check if the country of origin is included in the description of the item. Importer's knowledge allows the importer to claim preferential zero tariffs based on what they know about the originating status of the imported products and how it met the product-specific rules. It's an alternative to claiming preferential zero tariffs based on the exporter's statement on origin. If the importer is declaring the origin of the goods, the exporter or producer doesn't need to take any action to officially state the originating status of the goods. However, they may be asked by the importer to provide them with information about the product, the production process, and the supply chain. If the goods are originating, but an exporter or producer doesn't want to share specific information with the importer, their goods can still get zero tariff treatment by using the Statement on Origin option. Importers will need to consider what actions they've taken to ensure the rules of origin have been met and, if challenged, whether they could provide evidence as necessary. Suppliers' declarations. This is a declaration a supplier provides to the producer or exporter to prove the origin of the materials used in the manufacturing process or for finished products that you buy and re-export. The producer or exporter needs this information to make a statement on origin. Until the 31st of December 2021, if you're claiming preference for goods imported from or to the EU based on importer's knowledge, or making out a statement on origin, you don't need to hold a supplier's declaration at the time you're claiming. As the importer, you must be confident the goods meet the rules of origin and make every effort to get the supplier's declarations retrospectively. When is proof of origin not required? Goods valued below certain thresholds don't require any proof of origin. They do still need to be originating and meet rules of origin to access zero tariffs. For goods entering the EU from the UK, thresholds for goods entering the EU from the UK are: for a small package sent from a private individual to another private individual, it's €500. For a product that is part of a traveller's personal luggage, it's €1,200. This means that all goods imported into the EU for business purposes, including business-to-consumer transactions, need proof of origin. However, if the total value of the goods is below €150, customs duty is not charged, so businesses don't need to provide proof of origin. Goods entering the UK from the EU. For any product sent between private individuals, from a business to consumer or business to business, the threshold is £1,000. No customs duty is charged on goods imported into the UK that have a total value below £135. If you decide to delay making declarations for non-controlled goods imported into the UK from the EU, you won't need to provide any proof of origin until you make your supplementary declaration. Distribution: losing and gaining preference. Goods lose their preferential origin status once they are exported from where they were made and enter free circulation in the country they're imported into. Free circulation means after any duties or charges have been paid. Here's an example. AJ Limited imports soft furnishings from the EU. The soft furnishings are considered as EU originating and will be eligible for the zero tariff under the TCA when they enter the UK. Once they've arrived in the UK, the goods enter free circulation and therefore lose their status as EU originating. If AJ Limited wants to re-export them to the EU and benefit from the zero tariffs under the TCA, the items need to be sufficiently processed to become UK originating. The TCA has provisions on cumulation, which means that EU materials can be treated as UK content, provided these materials undergo sufficient processing in the UK and vice versa. AJ Limited sufficiently processes the soft furnishings from the EU so they become UK originating. AG Limited is then able to sell them back to the EU and benefit from zero tariffs. More information on what counts as sufficient processing can be found in guidance on gov.uk. Re-exporting unaltered goods to the EU. Where goods aren't going to be processed in the UK, you won't be able to benefit from the TCA's zero tariffs. However, where goods imported from the EU are left unprocessed, they may be able to be re-exported to the EU without paying import duty using returned goods relief. To qualify for this relief, the goods must be returned within 3 years from when they were exported. You must have proof of export, and the goods must not have been processed or altered beyond minimum maintenance or repair. The EU have published guidance on this relief on their website. The EU and UK both have a return goods relief policy as part of the Union Customs Code and UK domestic law. Traders should discuss the requirements with HMRC or the authorities in the relevant EU country. Where goods are being re-exported to the EU, traders should discuss with the customs authority in the relevant EU member state. Before we end the webinar, we thought it would be useful to show you how documentation passes along the supply chain. First, the exporter must provide a statement on origin declaring the goods that are originating under the terms of the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, the TCA. In some cases, this requires a supplier's declaration, a separate declaration sent by the supplier or producer to the exporter. This would be because the exporter needs more evidence, such as information on the originating status of materials used in its production. This in turn is checked by the exporter before sending the exporter's statement on origin to the importer. The importer submits the exporter's statement on origin as proof to claim zero tariffs on their customs declarations. The importer can claim zero tariffs without the exporter's statement on origin by taking responsibility for origin based on their own knowledge about the originating status of the imported goods, the importer's knowledge. The exporter won't need to provide a statement on origin in this case. We're almost at the end of our webinar. Here's a slide showing useful links, so please take a few moments to have a look. Thanks for watching.